Hey there, welcome to another episode of Talkin Shop. This is the first return guest I've had on Talkin Shop, Mr. Ashby Daniels.
Yeah.
He hooked me up with a speaking engagement here in Pittsburgh at the FPA. I was talking about brands and why financial advisors should have them and how to go about doing it. He followed up with why you should have a niche, or shout out to Tyrone Ross again, a niche. Ashby definitely has a niche as the retirement field guy. So I wanted to ask Ashby to break down his most recent piece, or second most recent piece, about a big mistake when it comes to Medicare and the implications that can have for retirees. He specializes in retirement. He's the go-to guy for retirement, so who better to break this down? So real quick, high level, for the retirees or people who have parents that are going to be retiring, that are going to be making these decisions, why don't you break down that piece and what people need to be aware of?
Sure. So real quick, so the post I wrote is all about the penalty associated with late enrollment for Medicare. A lot of people are aware that there is a penalty, but I think a lot of people miss out on the fact of how severe the penalty is, and I make light of the fact that the Medicare penalty for late enrollment is, I think, the second most penalizing, or the second biggest penalty that retirees could face, second only to the late enrollment, the 50% the 50% penalty for not taking your RMD on time. But what the Medicare late enrollment penalty is, if you miss the deadline, for every 12 months that you are late in enrolling for Medicare, you will receive a 10% penalty of whatever your premium is for the remainder of your life. So if you think about it, if you were in the post, current rates for Medicare Part B are about $135.50 a month per person. So if you're 5 years late, you will owe, if you're 5 years late enrolling for Medicare, the penalty could amount to at least $12,000 if you live to just age 85. So if you live longer, then the penalty could amount to even more. So the penalty becomes very significant over time, and it's a penalty that lasts with you for the rest of your life. A lot of people think that it's either a one-year penalty or whatever, but it's actually a penalty that's with you for life. And if your spouse is late, you can double it. So, and then if you don't file for Medicare Part D, there's a 1% penalty for each month that you delay that's with you for the rest of your life. So these penalties become really, really, really severe, and most people are totally unaware. So to give you an idea of what you can do about it, though, is first of all, enroll on time. So your open enrollment period is the month in which you turn 65, you have that month and then 3 months on each side. So it's actually a 7-month period for the initial enrollment if you enroll right around age 65 like most people do. Or if you retire, say after age 65, then you have an 8-month period from the minute that your coverage ends or employment ends. Then you have 8 months to get enrolled into Medicare. So that's the easiest way to avoid it. There's a couple other ways to do it, but if you're interested, you can check out the piece.
So is this something that a lot of people do? I feel like the retirees that I've always worked with, like one of the few things they might know is Medicare starts at 65. So is this a glaring issue, or is it something that only a few people really miss out on?
So the example I gave in the post is that the majority of people I've heard of or know of that miss the enrollment period are people who are covered by their ex-employer's plan. So they have retiree healthcare coverage through their company, so they believe that they're covered and that it is considered qualified coverage. But the problem is that does not count as far as Medicare is concerned. If you have left your employer, regardless of whether or not you have credible coverage, it does not count towards qualifying for the Medicare exemption or the special enrollment period. So no, that's the primary time. Most people are aware that Medicare enrollment is 65, but that's the main culprit of the people who I see that miss it.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. We talked about this briefly, but you didn't know I was gonna ask this for the video. We're gonna see how good you are. We were talking about Medicare issues, and I asked you about the impact of income can have on your Medicare premiums going forward and what people may not know. Can you real quickly kind of talk about what that issue is and kind of how your premiums are factored?
Sure. So your premiums are tiered based on your income. So now, generally speaking, this doesn't affect too many people because the first tier is well into the 100,000s of income. But if you are one of those people, your Medicare premiums can go up significantly. However, it is a 2-year look back. So Medicare premiums are based on whatever your tax return was from 2 years prior. So if you're retiring this year, as an example, they're looking at your 2017 return. So if you're doing any kind of Roth conversions or anything like that, you want to be sure that you're thinking 2 years down the road to factor in what the Medicare cost is, because a lot of people only think about taxes and they don't necessarily, they overlook the Medicare premium issue. So that's
not even the Roth conversion. I'm thinking of the people who want to go splurge on a big vacation, or they want to go buy a new car or buy a boat or something, and they don't do it the planning smart. Like you could break, depending on what it is in the year, you could break that distributions up between 2 calendar years, so your income's down low. So that's something that I've always remembered to tell people, that it's the 2-year look back. So
and if you're looking at if you're looking at doing something like that, or putting a down payment on a house, and you're going to pay out of your IRAs as an example, so you obviously you're going to have taxes associated with that, but understanding that that is going to impact your Medicare premiums a couple years down the road is and can be significant. So you're spot on for sure.
You passed the test, threw a curveball at you, but you are the retirement guy, so you know that. So in the show notes down below, or if you're watching this on YouTube, go to All About Your Benjamins. I'll have a link to Ashby's article and also to his website, the Retirement Field Guide. There's a bunch of stuff there all about this. He just talked about his niche, and all he wants to talk about is retirement. He said he is an old man in a young person's body.
65-year-old in a 35-year-old's body.
So if you have retirement questions and need some specifics, that's the guy to go check out. So Ashby, thanks for doing this. Thanks for lunch.
For having me.
We just had a pretty good burger, and I'm going to hit the road back home, get back home with the family. So we'll see everybody next episode.
See ya.